What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to the show. And man, oh man, do we have a great show for you today. We are coming off of a 5-0 sweep from our player props yesterday. So every play that I gave yesterday cashed when it came to the player props. We hit about 50-60% on my given slate predictions. However, I gave out about 6 parlays and 4 out of those 6 cash, going up about 12.5 units on the day. So man, oh man, we are coming off hot, coming off the train ready. And so we're going to see what we can do to build that momentum and keep that train going. So if you guys want some more insights and want some more plays and the picks and everything, go ahead and join the Discord. Completely free. Links in the description. Don't hesitate to do that. That's where I post all my plays. And then you can also follow me on X at Live to Amuse as well. So let's get this ball rolling. Let me show you guys exactly what happened yesterday, going through the recap, seeing exactly what plays cashed and didn't through the predictions, and then also showing you guys the parlays and picks that also cashed as well. So let's dive into it. It's going to be a great day. Got a great 8-game NBA slate. So let's make some more money. All right, so let's go through the quick recap here. As you guys can see in the first part of the entire slate, when I went over it, we did not do so hot, but we ended the predictions pretty good here. So Miami money line, I thought that was going to be a good plus money spot for them to cash, but unfortunately not. Minnesota came out swinging. Anthony Edwards came off like 14 points in the first quarter or something like that. Crazy. So it kind of made sense. He came out really hot, ready to go. I did predict the under on this game. I just felt like it was a little too high, but everything else, as you guys can see, was not the best here. Knicks did not cover that -2.5. Philly, Philly won that game, and they did not keep that under 233.5. Chicago lost, even though they were the favorites. I thought they were going to ramp back up, but Charlotte was, I guess, just a little too much for them. So the public was on something, because that was a play that I did fade the public, and the public cashed out. So great job on that. The biggest one that I was confused about is the Spurs money line. Spurs losing to Portland at a plus 400, 500 odds is insane. So that's something I got to keep in mind, especially going forward. But as you guys can see, the rest of the plays for the rest of the night cashed. Everything else cashed. I really did like Dallas. They ended up cashing and winning. Utah Jazz, I didn't think they were going to lose more than 12.5 of what the line was given, and of course they didn't. Keeping that game under that 242.5, again, was a really high scoring, especially for a team like Golden State. They still ended up being under. Boston money line with that plus money was fantastic. Took that and cashed. And then the game did go over that 219.5. Boston scored about 140 plus of it. So it was pretty easy to go over that 219.5. So, and as you guys can see, the player props that we gave yesterday, giving out that Jalen Johnson over 19.5 points. RJ Barrett, Daniel Gafford, the over turnover, that was a funny one, but it cashed. I think it cashed actually in the first quarter. Really quick, and it was my favorite play, so we cashed on that as well. Klay Thompson, this one was super sweaty. Klay Thompson over that 9.5 points and assists. He ended up cashing, but man, oh man, was it a sweat. And then Kawhi Leonard, no doubt, under that 28 points. I knew he had to come to an end eventually, okay? And if you guys put $20 on that play, it cashed out about $250. So you guys went up $230 on that play from yesterday. So let's see what we can continue the momentum here. Let me show you guys some of the recaps I had as well. As you guys can see, we did cash some of the parlays that were given out in the Discord. Again, completely free. Go ahead and join. But yeah, we cashed out every single play. Now, the unit size here, $25 per unit size, and all of them cashed. So the thing is we want to keep that momentum. Gave out about, again, 6 plays. These are all of the plays that cash, plus the player prop as well from the video, last video. So we want to keep this momentum here. I think we can. Going up about 12.5 units. It's about $300 on the day. Not too shabby in the slightest. So let's keep that momentum going, guys. I'm going to run through the slate really quick. And then after going through the slate, I will give you guys my player props and see if we can cash back to back. So let's dive into it. All right, before we dive into the slate here, did want to just give some extra transparency. As you guys can see, verified by Pickett, we did go up 12 units, gave out 6 plays, 4 out of the 6 cash. So again, we want to see if we can keep that momentum there. Let's keep building that up, build that traction, and keep it going. So let's dive into the first game here. We got Detroit Pistons versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers are clearly at home. As you guys can see exactly where the public are on, for the most part, they are feeling Detroit. And honestly, I don't blame them in the slightest. They are due for a win. But let's check out these odds here. We got Cleveland -195, Detroit +170. It's a good in my opinion, this is a good place to go for that plus odds there. Now, do they win? It's a toss-up. We can go through it, dive deep, but let's check it out. So they are the underdogs, Detroit. They are plus 5.5, and then over/under sitting at 238.5. Okay, so pretty high scoring game. This is going to be a good place to kind of target some good player props, in my opinion. Now we do have some injuries. We do have, I believe, let me pull this up here. We do have Jalen Durant out, Tobias Harris out. Jared Allen and Sam Merrill are both game time decisions, so these are things to keep in mind here. Especially with Jalen Durant out, this is going to be, and Tobias Harris, this is going to be a great rebounding spot, in my opinion, for Cade Cunningham. So I do like Cade as a player prop here, just for you guys' extra sauce and knowledge on that. But let's see if we can predict some lines here. So looking at everything, with the majority of the public on Cleveland, I don't hate that just because Jalen Durant is a big piece to them winning. Tobias Harris as well. So there's going to be a lot more work fed onto the shoulders of Isaiah Stewart, Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey even. So there's going to be a lot more minutes there. But they are going to need a big man, like a strong center going against Cleveland. They just got Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, some bigs, and a lot of their small forwards, DeAndre Hunter, and power forwards also play big as well. So this is the reason why a lot of people are probably going towards Cleveland here. I don't hate that having Jalen Durant out is pretty tough, and also they're coming off of a loss from Miami, which I thought they would win against them as well. So this is gonna be a hard one. Could kind of predict. Cleveland's coming off 3 wins back to back, so they might be building momentum. They are at home. I don't hate the public, going towards Cleveland here. In fact, I might say go with the public here at minus 195. Cleveland could win. Now, let's check out this spread. As you guys can see, 90% of the people are on Detroit to cover that plus 5.5. I don't hate that either. Detroit, I can't see them losing by 5 or more. I'm not against that. So I might be with the public all in all. And then over/under, I think I am also still with the public for under on this game just because, Detroit doesn't have that many slots for them to score, especially with their 2 good scorers out. So I can definitely see them going under that 238.5. So I say follow the public on this one. Cleveland winning, I can definitely see that. Honestly, I think I just might do Cleveland money line. That's what I would tell you guys as well. And then keep that game under that 238.5. So, let's jump into the next game. I know we got a big slate, so I want to try to maneuver through these fairly quickly. Next game we have Indiana versus Orlando. Orlando is at home. Orlando is the major favorite, sitting at minus 230. Indiana Pacers at plus 200. Spread is sitting at plus 7.5. Over/under is at 228.5. So pretty mid-tier scoring game. Now, Indiana have lost their last 5. They are due for a win. Okay, again, I mentioned every video so far. When there's regression, there's a game or a team or a player that's due for progression, and vice versa. Same thing happened with, Kawhi Leonard. He was progressing like crazy, had a 40% hit rate for under 28 and ended up going under. So these guys are due. Now, is it against Magic? Not too sure. I will say this is a good spot where Indiana can upset. To be honest, Magic are good, don't get me wrong, but they have a lot of players out as well. They still got Franz out. They still have to rely on, Paolo Banchero, and Paolo Banchero hasn't been doing the best, but we got Jalen Suggs out, Franz Wagner out. We on the Indiana Pacers side, we also have Benedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin out, but I think they've been out for a little bit here, off and on, pretty sporadic. So there's going to be a lot of Siakam here. I would put a lot of focus on that, but I don't hate Indiana getting a pretty open upset here. I wouldn't mind sprinkling that plus 200 money line. Don't expect it. I wouldn't put like a major crazy unit on it. Maybe 1/3, 1/4 of the unit. But you honestly might be able to get a sprinkle out here in a cash. They are due for a win, in my opinion, and this is a good team to do it against. Now, with that being said, where I would really put the most money on, if you guys don't want to sprinkle on that plus money, definitely take the Indiana Pacers spread at plus 7.5. That's going to be my favorite play there. That's what I would recommend you guys take. And looking at the over/under, 228.5. It is pretty high. Let's check out their last scoring. So last game against Orlando, they did go under. The last game they played, the Orlando was 112 to 110. They lost by 2, Indiana. They scored 113, 119, 116, and 122. For Orlando, they scored 114, 112 against Indiana. Close game. They played in Indiana that game too, so very close. They scored 106, 127, and then 105. So this game, honestly, I could definitely see it going under. I think I'm going to fade the public here under that 230 under 228 and a half, maybe even 229 and a half. I'll move it, alternate it a little bit, but I don't think this game passes 230. So that's going to be my prediction there. So I would take Indiana Pacers plus 7.5 and then under the total on this game. So let's keep the ball moving here. We got Denver versus Brooklyn. Brooklyn is at home. Denver has mostly their players. And then this is also a bounce back from MPJ going against his old team at home. MPJ has been the moving part and the motor for this team in Brooklyn here. So, and now the weird thing is with Jokic out, this won't even be a crazy effective game in my opinion. But they still got to play at the end of the day. Now, some things to keep in mind. We have Jokic out. Now, Jamal Murray is a game time decision. If Jamal Murray does not play, I'm taking Brooklyn Nets money line all day long. The other thing to keep in mind, too, is MPJ also is a game-time decision due to illness. I'm not sure if he might have a Michael Jordan flu game if he does play, but I would honestly put money on it. I think Michael Porter, if he plays, could really go off. I think he might want to make a statement. He has that type of personality where he wants to bounce back. I think this is a good spot for him as well. I'm not against that, but that's only if he plays. If he does not play, I really do like Cam Thomas to step up here. But Jamal Murray, main guy, may not play. Jokic obviously out as well. So these are things to keep in mind whenever it comes down to picking these, and this is probably why the public's about 50-50 on this. I don't hate the Brooklyn Nets to take this. They are plus money as well, especially if new injuries come out as well. I don't hate it in the slightest. Now, Denver's only minus 140 favorites. They're only minus 140 favorites. It's very close at a minus 1.5 spread, maybe minus 2.5 depending on the sports book. And then over-under is sitting at 225.5. I think this game may go under. So I'm with the public. Only reason why is because a lot of stars may sit. If MPJ sits, Jamal Murray sits, this game will go under. It'll probably be a G League type of game. No one's going to watch it. Sorry, but it's just the truth. So I don't hate Brooklyn money line here. I would honestly sprinkle on that, especially if Jamal Murray sits. Now, if Jamal Murray doesn't sit, I might have to sprinkle on the Denver money line there because Jamal Murray has been going on a complete tear. So that's my prediction there. Hopefully that helps a little bit on what you guys want to play. But that's what we're looking at for that game. Now, New Orleans Pelicans against Miami. Miami is at home. New Orleans Pelicans need to figure it out, losing last 5 games. And we have Miami, of course, as the favorites. Now, Miami is coming off of a loss against Minnesota. But before that, they won their 4 out of 5 straight. So they're gaining momentum. I believe Bam Adebayo is about to step up here. I think this is going to be a great spot to target Bam, in my opinion. And then also, I think I think Tyler Hero is going to be coming back. He has a game time decision. I know Jaquez was he left to do an early exit yesterday's game. He might come back. I wouldn't hold my breath on this, but Tyler Hero might make his reappearance. And keep in mind, Trey Murphy and Derek Queen on the other team as well are game time decisions. So that can persuade exactly what this looks like here. Now, if those two people play, Derek Queen and Trey Murphy, I think the New Orleans Pelicans can keep this much closer than expected. I know they are plus 260 as the underdogs, and they're plus 8.5 to cover the spread. But if they play, I don't hate that at all. I would alternate it as well. I would say take New Orleans Pelicans plus 9.5. One, they're just due for a win. They lost 5 in a row. They're due for a win. Regression mentality. I think they win. And then if Trey Murphy and Derek Queen do end up playing, I think this is a good spot where New Orleans Pelicans can cover that. And as you guys can see, that would be me fading the public at its entirety because I do think also this game does keep it under 244.5. So I am against the public in all these. I think New Orleans Pelicans are due for a win. And keep in mind, Portland Trailblazers were plus 500 yesterday against this, against the Spurs, and they won. So this team being plus 200, I don't hate that. So New Orleans Pelicans, I'll sprinkle on the money line, but officially I would tell you guys to take the plus 8.5, plus 9.5, and then I would say go under this game of 244.5. I don't see this being that crazy of a high-scoring game, in my opinion. Now, let's jump into the next game here. We have Minnesota versus Washington. Minnesota's going to win all the way, in my opinion. They just came off of a win against Miami. They're hot. They're heating up. I know they're traveling. They're playing on a back-to-back, but I think they can still keep up and ramp up that momentum there. Most of the money is on Minnesota, so I am with the public. They are sitting at minus 400 as the favorites, and then Washington is plus 360 as the underdogs. The spread's sitting at minus 9.5, so they think this team is going to win by 10 or more. I don't hate that at all. And then over-under sitting at 235.5. So this is going to be a pretty open game. High scoring. It's a great game for player props, in my opinion. But honestly, I'm not going to spend too much time on this game. I'd say Minnesota is winning. I do like their spread. 10 is a lot to me, so I might alternate it. I would say Minnesota minus 4.5. I think they win by 5 or more. Washington has been doing some crazy upsets lately, keeping things closer than usual. They're kind of like Portland on me. In fact, to be honest with you, wow, I just thought about this. Every single time I bet against Portland, they win. And every time I bet with Portland, they lose. And I think I'm 0 for 10 officially, because I said that yesterday, and now I'm officially 0 for 10. Wow, that team, I can't get a grasp on them. But same thing with Washington. Washington's kind of on the same boat. Every time I pick them to lose, they end up winning somehow. They upset, and vice versa. Every time I pick them to win, they lose. So I think I'm like 0-6 for Washington. I'm going to say to go with Minnesota if they do an upset. Fade anytime I talk about Washington and Portland. So just keep that in mind. So Minnesota take that minus 4.5 for the Minnesota spread. And then I would say keep this game under. 236.5 is pretty high, or 235.5 is pretty high. Maybe do an alternate under 239.5 is just to be extra safe, in my opinion. I'm just going to fade the public on that. Now, let's go to the OKC and Phoenix game. This should be a fun game to kind of pick some player props on, in my opinion. We got 95% of the public on OKC, which makes the most sense. They are minus 375 favorites. And that's actually not a high. I mean, that's a lower odds than Minnesota. And I feel like Minnesota could be a toss-up, to be honest with you. But I do believe the Phoenix Suns are ramping up. I mean, they've won 4 out of their last 5. Dillon Brooks has been on a tear. Devin Booker's been on a tear. But let me check out the teams they've been playing. So they've been playing New Orleans Pelicans back-to-back, Washington Wizards. They lost against Cleveland, not very bad, but pretty bad, by 16. And then they won against Sacramento. So the teams they're winning against, Phoenix, is not crazy good teams. It's not anything they would boast about. So that's something to keep in mind. And OKC have won 4 out of their last 5. I think they're ramping back up ever since they've been losing to the Spurs. So I think they continuously win. Now let's check out the spread and see what exactly we're looking at here. So we're looking at minus 8.5 for the spread. Over under sitting at 230.5. I think this game could go over, especially being in Phoenix. Both teams can average that. I don't hate it. The only thing that might sway me differently is if this game is a blowout, because typically when the games are blowouts, they go under this, right? So I don't hate Phoenix to cover that plus 9.5. They've been playing well, ramping up fairly well, may have momentum. So I do like Phoenix plus 9.5. I think I'm going to fade the public here and pick Phoenix. I do obviously think OKC is going to win, but my play that I would give you guys is Phoenix plus 9.5. And then I honestly might go against the public again and pick the under on this game. I just think there's somewhat of a blowout potential, and then Phoenix may come back in the second half or something. Something like that may happen. That's just my prediction on that. So under 230.5, that's what I'll be looking at here. Now, going to the next game, we got Milwaukee versus Sacramento. Sacramento is at home. This game, in my opinion, is going to be Milwaukee all the way. They are the favorites, minus 245. Sacramento's plus 215. Spread sitting at minus 6.5. Over under is at 230 on the dot. Yeah, this game could go under. I think, with Milwaukee playing back-to-back, or is it back-to-back? No, they have 1 day of rest, but they played in Milwaukee. They did travel. They're in, California, different hours as well. And Sacramento is also losing, or they lost their last 4. And I will say, I believe Zach LaVine is coming back as well tonight, which can change a lot of things. DeMar DeRozan's back and ramping up. Domantas Sabonis is still out. Giannis is also game time decision. If Giannis doesn't play, I do like Sacramento to especially like Sacramento to cover. In fact, if Giannis doesn't play, I may sprinkle on Sacramento to win, but I do think Giannis plays, in my opinion. So looking at everything, that's probably why Sacramento's spread, majority of the public is on Sacramento to cover that spread of that -6.5 or +6.5. I don't hate that at all, especially if Giannis does not play. Now, if Giannis plays, I would just say hammer the Milwaukee money line, just keep it simple. And then the over-under, I would say I'm going against the public here, go under that 230. So that's what I'll be looking at that game. Now, let's get to the last game here. We got Memphis versus LA. Memphis are away. They, LA is at home. LA has a few injuries to keep in mind. Austin Reeves is still out. Rui Hachimura is still out. And then for the Memphis side, we have Zach Edey still out as well. And John Morant, he's actually a game-time decision. I would focus heavy on John Morant on this game, but with him being game-time decision, not too sure. I know him and the head coach are bumping heads here. He's not playing the best. All of his injuries are slowing him down a bit, in my opinion. He's not giving as much bounce and explosiveness. So I just think John Morant's a tough one to kind of pull the trigger on as of late, but I don't think it's one of those things that's going to be long-term. So we'll see. Now, if John Morant does sit, I would say focus on Jaren Jackson Jr. As a big player prop play, especially with DeAndre Ayton playing down low. Just doesn't play crazy good defense. And then also LA lets a lot of points to the power forward position. So this is going to be a good spot for, big men and power forwards. Anyone that can get to the basket, I would put a lot of focus on that. But you guys didn't come here for player props. So let's look at the spread and the money line here. LA, of course, are the favorites, -210. Memphis is +190. +6.5 is the spread currently, and then over/under is at 240.5. I don't think this game's going to be high scoring. I mean, both teams scoring 120 each. I don't think so. I think LA has too much stuff going on. JJ's talking about how a lot of people aren't running plays. They're not playing together as a team. They have no play calling, no chemistry, no nothing, no morale. So to score high, you need to work together to some degree, right? You need to know exactly what people are doing, set screens, get rebounds, play with intensiveness, and play with a purpose to some degree. And if you don't have that in a team, I just don't see them scoring crazy high. And same thing with Memphis. Memphis is bumping heads. They don't seem like they have that good chemistry. So I don't see this game going over 240.5. So I'd say go under 240.5 for the total. So I am fading the public here. And then I really do like Memphis to cover that 6.5. If John Morant plays. If John Morant doesn't play, I would say just take LA money line and call it a day. So those are my predictions for that game. Now let's dive into the player props here. I got my 5 favorite player props on the day, and then I'll give you guys the exact reasons on why I picked these plays, and let's get you guys cashing out once again. So let's get it going. All right, so now let's dive into the player props here. I got my 5 favorite player props on the day. We 5-0 cash yesterday. Let's see if we can do it and run it back again. I put the hood up because I just realized I did the entire video with the hood up yesterday. Don't know if that means anything, but let's try it out. I'm going to stay dialed for you guys, and let me show you what I got. So we got Aaron Gordon over 9.5 points plus assists. He'll probably get way more than that, especially if Jamal Murray sits, but that's what I picked for the time. Naz Reid under 2.5 assists. Bobby Portis over 13.5 points and assists. Zach LaVine to get at least 1 block or steal or more. And then KCP over 4.5 points. Now, if you put this or build this on Prize Picks, it is a 7.5x on the day. And of course, if you guys want to do regular lines, which I do like regular lines as well for these guys, like KCP, I believe his regular line's 8.5. Aaron Gordon's 13.5. I do like those regular lines as well. If you do that, you can get about a 14 to 15x for this play. Now, you guys know me. I like to be extra safe. But either way, let's show you guys exactly why I picked these plays here. Started off, we got Aaron Gordon over 9.5 points and assists. He's hit this 90% of the time and on the day. As you guys can see, he only missed it once, and that was due to an injury. And if you guys can see as well, he's hit this every single time back-to-back when it comes to head-to-head against this team. So I think this is just an easy spot for Aaron Gordon. I know a lot of eyes may not be on him as much today. And if they are, I still think this is still an easy cash. It is what it is, especially with Jokic being out. Aaron Gordon should get a lot more minutes and a lot more usage and play really, really well against Brooklyn. So I really like this play. Now let's dive into the next one. We have Zach LaVine to get over 1 steals plus blocks. He's hit this 80% of the time. And then if you guys look head-to-head, he's hit it 50% of the time. He hit it last time he played against Milwaukee. But with Milwaukee, again, may not play with Giannis. This team has a very high turnover rate. And I think Zach LaVine may be on the front end of that as well. So now I know he's coming back. His minutes usage might not be top notch or be there, but I do really like this play. He can get it within the first 5 to 10 minutes of playing defense. And again, with the team Milwaukee playing sloppy, I just think this is a great spot for him here. So that's why I went that. Now, I will say this: the Zach LaVine is my least favorite out of the entire slate. So if you want to leave this play out, I don't blame you in the slightest. It is a goblin anyway, so it's not crazy taking off. But I still do like it if you want to stay in 10 toes with me. So just want to give you that extra juice and knowledge there. Now, Bobby Portis, he's hit this 90% of the time, over 13.5 points and assists. And then even head-to-head, if we look at this head-to-head here, he hit it 50% of the time. He only missed it, the other day against Sacramento, but then right back, he bounced back and hit over this. So this is a toss-up here, but I do like Bobby Portis, especially if Giannis sits. If Giannis sits, this is a great line because then we got it in early. Now, KCP hitting over 4.5 points. He is playing against LA. I feel like this is a team where he loves to score against. He's hit this at an 80% hit rate. I think his regular line's 8.5, and I do think he hits that. My second favorite play of KCP was his PRA. I believe it was at 10.5 or 11.5 at the time, but Prize Picks didn't have it. They took it off the board, so I just solidified it with the points. Now, this right here is a great play. I can just see him getting a layup in a three. He loves playing against LA. And then as you can see, head-to-head, he's hit this 100% of the time. Every time he plays LA this year, he cashes. So something to keep in mind. That's exactly why I went with that. Now, going with Naz Reid, 60% of the hit rate on this. He hit it last game. Now, if you guys look at it, though, he's hit it and then goes under, hits it, goes under, hits it, goes under, hits it, goes under. So you guys know what that means. He's going to go under today. And on top of it, if you look at the head-to-head, he's hit this under all 3 times he's played Washington. So that's why I'm standing with those games, or standing with those teams there. That's what we'll be looking at for the most part. I hope this helps you guys. I try to give the head-to-head matchup to give you guys some extra insight there. Just because, going through the last 90, last 5 sometimes just doesn't pan out the way that we expect. And so I try to give that extra, sauce and extra knowledge there and let you decide on how you want to maneuver through the plays. But this is the play I'm sticking with. Hopefully we cash. Hopefully you have a great day for, NBA props all in all. I know it's NFL Sunday as well, so everyone will be watching that. Stay tuned with Garrett. Garrett will be able to give some plays and some knowledge on that as well, so stay tuned. But if you guys want all of our plays, insights, and more, again, join the Discord. It's completely free to join. We do not charge. We give the insights, a lot more plays and picks. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves as well. Give out plays and do it all yourselves within the Discord. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today. Can't wait to see what we do. Let's have a Sunday, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Later.